Nigerians in diaspora constitute a viable resource for mobilization of development interventions. Now, in 1999, when former President Olusegun Obasanjo gave a more relevance to Nigerians in diaspora, he identified the need to tap into the growing resource base that we have in our country people who are scattered all over the world, based on the assessment of contributions and remittances that were coming from the diaspora into the Nigerian economy. And it's not just applicable to Nigeria as well, to other third world and developing countries. Today on the show, we will be talking about the contribution of Nigerians in diaspora to Nigeria as a nation. Welcome to the New Nigeria Show. My name is Uju Onwachukwu. On the show today, I have a very special guest. His name is Mr. Joseph WAYAS. Mr. Joseph WAYAS is in the Diaspora Committee of the New Nigeria Project. Hello, sir. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you so much, Uju, for having me.
All right. So let's get straight to the conversation. Nigeria, we know, is amongst the developing countries. Well, we still say we're developing. I strongly believe we have developed. So Nigeria belongs to the group of developing countries that are still grappling with corruption and poverty. And we know that Nigerians who are outside the shores of the country still, to a very large extent, make some contributions to our economy and in other areas of our existence as a people. Can you give us, an overview of what you feel these contributions are?
Well, to begin with, the Diaspora Committee, the Nigerians in diaspora contribute, roughly speaking, 10% to the national GDP. Mm-hmm. 2 years ago, that was amounting to $25 billion. But this year, perhaps because of COVID, it has shot down to $18 billion. Yeah. But when you compare that with other revenue, it's probably at the same stead of 10% of the national GDP. So the Nigerians in diaspora constitute the single most important segment of the Nigerian economy if you're looking at investment homeward.
Nigerians or remittances from Nigerians in diaspora has impacted positively on poverty alleviation. According to reports, according to statistics, is that the reality on ground?
But of course, the Nigerians in diaspora, their contributions affect directly the activities of our local economy. They pay for school fees, they pay for hospital bills, they help fund marriages, they build houses. Every endeavor. It's unlike income that is earned within our borders that has a tendency for capital flight. Mm-hmm. Nigerian, this money has been sent from outside to within Nigeria, and it basically stays in Nigeria and helps Nigerians in all forms of endeavors. Okay.
Now, let's talk a little bit about the specific areas, apart from remittances now, the specific areas that Nigerians in diaspora contribute to development here in Nigeria. Let's look at education. Are there any profound instances that you want to give example of? Because what we have, based on our educational standards, is that we pretty much go out of the country to get education. So how do Nigerians in diaspora contribute to education from here?
Well,
or in here rather.
Basically, the relationship between a diaspora citizen and their loved ones at home is one of love. Okay. It's one of love. So they take on the challenges and problems of their loved ones back here, which include their needs for education. Mm. And I think that it is immeasurable, their contribution in that sense. And let's not forget that even the figures that I have touted before are official figures. Much of the remittances here are unofficial, and they don't go through the traditional financial chains that record contributions.
Oh, so what kind of chains do they go through?
Well, these are monies that are passed usually through the banking. It doesn't include people that put money in envelopes and enter planes, for example.
Okay.
It doesn't include people who pay over there and the transaction is done here in their favor.
Yes.
But it just includes traditional financial transactions which are reported through the financial institutions like banks. Any activity that doesn't make sense, chances are that activity, any economical activity that doesn't make sense, chances are that activity is spurred by foreign influence. Can
you speak to that a little further?
For example, His Excellency Rochas Okoracha was touted as having, outside of Lagos, the most active industrial activity in the country.
Okay.
And that doesn't make sense otherwise, other than the fact that it was the contributions of Imolites from outside Imo anyway, but maybe outside even this country.
That was while he was governor?
Yeah, while he was governor.
Okay.
It doesn't make any other sense other than that the Imolites that were outside determined that the atmosphere was conducive to their doing that kind of support build up, and we see it because if you wanted to build real estate or invest in real estate, you would choose more traditional areas like Abuja, Lagos, maybe Port Harcourt. Yeah. But the activity that was done at home was because it was personal.
Okay. Now, apart from those kind of investments where we have maybe buildings and people sending money back home for people to start business, is there any other kind of investment that would be beneficial to the Nigerian economy that Nigerians in diaspora are either engaging in or can engage in?
Well, you have for a few years now the Sovereign Trust Fund, which is basically accumulation of Nigerian interests, particularly businesses that have supported industrial activity, macroeconomical activity in the country. But for now, it's not as pronounced as other foreign uses. For example, DFID, that is the European initiatives, or even the World Bank, for example. Those kind of activities, though needed, are for now understated. But CBN are giving incentives for now.
Okay. Yeah.
For example, the incentive of 4 for 1, which is you get 4 naira extra from what the official exchange rate is, 4 for 1 for every dollar you send or remit to Nigeria. So there's these activities that government is encouraging, so that the formal change of capital flow or commerce flow are adhered to by Nigerians and by organizations abroad.
Okay. Now let's take a look at socially. Now we know that most times a lot of people, because of our culture, people have to come back from wherever they are to maybe get married or maybe not have their children. We rather go the other way around. But let's look at family events, burials, marriages, and things like that. Would you say that is a worthy contribution? Is it something that we can hold on to and say, oh yes, that's something that brings in something into the economy?
Of course, we have seen in the entertainment industry, not only is the outflow from Nigeria, that's Nollywood,
Yes.
but also equally, if you look at the early artists, like the band, for example, that their homestead was overseas, they exported back to Nigeria, if you like. And we have seen the takeoff in the events industry in Nigeria. And for now, Nigerians overseas can expect pretty much the same standard of service that they get overseas. So there's no reason anymore. If you have a moment you want to cherish, such as a wedding or any other special occasion, why you cannot do it at home and be proud of the effort put in there or the service delivery that is put in there. So lots of Nigerians, I believe, but there are no statistics yet on that. But Nigerians that can afford it do endeavor to come back because it's more of their loved ones and the people that respect them are back here. Within their sphere of influence, they are the star. They are the Maradona. They are the Lionel Messi of their own little local sphere of influence. So they have to come back home.
All right. When we come back from this short break, we're going to be looking at how Nigerians in diaspora can contribute to Nigeria electorally. 2023 is just around the corner. What can Nigerians who are outside the shores of the country do? How much do their voices count? We'll be right back. You're welcome back. It's still the New Nigeria Show, and today we're talking about contributions of Nigerians in diaspora in different aspects of our lives as a nation. How much do they bring in terms of remittances, in terms of our education, social life? Now, there are statistics to show for that, and we would say that so far we're doing really, really good. Now, let's talk about the electoral part of our existence as a people. 2023 is around the corner. In less than 2 years, I would say. And Nigeria will be going to the polls again. How do you think that we can garner the support, participation, and tangible participation, of Nigerians who are beyond the shores of this country? How do you think that the electoral body, INEC, can garner that support? Yes, exactly how I put it earlier.
Well, thank you for the question. To begin with, I think that the way to approach 2023, if you're INEC, is to think outside of the box.
Right.
It's been touted so far that a constitutional amendment is needed for Nigerians to vote overseas. But my approach to that, and indeed the initiative taken by by the New Nigeria Project, is that already existing laws exist. Already laws exist that allow for that vacuum to be filled. For instance, there's the Vienna Conference of 1961 that basically gave countries sovereignty over their official embassies and diplomatic missions overseas. There's no reason why you cannot take a step from that to say that Nigerians overseas that are on official duty, the federal government or indeed INEC, have a duty to allow those to vote when the time comes to vote, without jumping on a plane, particularly when they are all literally at one address, that is the Nigerian mission overseas in their respective countries. So that's one thing that can immediately be addressed. But if you want to look at the thing even legally, if you want to look at the issue even legally, The fact is that if, on one hand, the federal constitution allows every Nigerian 18 years and above to vote, it has contradicted itself if it says that only within the borders of Nigeria, because once you're 18 years, you're 18 years. And once you're Nigerian, you're Nigerian. If you're on the moon, you're still Nigerian. If you're in the US of, in the United States of America, you're still Nigerian. And these days, we operate borderless communities. The internet is borderless, for instance.
Yes.
So we have to think outside the box on how to go about that. The number one issue for Nigerians overseas is their voting rights. So we need to, since they have fulfilled their part of contributing immensely to the economy, I think the least Nigeria could do is make sure that they have their right to vote.
Okay. What would you say is the reason for the resistance? Well, I don't know if that's the right word. The resistance to accepting this change or accepting this as a new norm. So, because we have quite a number of people outside the shores of Nigeria who their votes can make a very, very great impact on our elections. Why are we not so quick to jump on this? I mean, when I say we now, I mean we as a people, a government, and INEC.
Well, I think it is the narrative that has been taken by the leaders and the stakeholders in the matter so far. They need to think out of the box. If you have a problem, you need to solve it. And quite frankly, the issue of constitutional amendments is a very long journey to go down and quite a slippery slope. And to solve the problem immediately. In fact, if the provision that says Nigerians can only vote within the borders contradicts the provision that every Nigerian 18 years and above can vote, then basically instead of going for the amendment, that part of the Constitution should be expunged, or the Supreme Court call it determine that it's unconstitutional because it contradicts itself. Does
it then mean that INEC cannot come up with any solutions to this particular issue without necessarily waiting until the Constitution is amended?
If INEC were exercising its fiduciary responsibilities completely, it wouldn't wait for the clamor to be too loud before it just got on the next plane and conducted an election. Or conducted an election in say the Nigerian embassy in London and see what happens. Okay. Let somebody go to court and call that unconstitutional. Okay. I'm sure the courts will disagree and say no. The actual intent for the law is for every Nigerian 18 years and above to have the right to vote.
Do you see this happening before 2023? Are you optimistic that would have?
It's what we are promising. It's what we are promising, and we expect at least, if not before, come 2023, that there will be a change of thinking in Nigeria, and these things will be done. For example, in New Nigeria, we believe that future ambassadors should come from the rank and file of Nigerian diasporas themselves, because they know better how best to help the Nigerians residing within those countries and Nigerian inquiries coming from Nigeria towards those countries. Yeah. Okay. They know best because that's their home and they live there and work there.
Okay. Wow. It's been quite an interesting conversation, short but very straight to the point. It's been the New Nigeria Show, and my guest, Mr. Joseph WAYAS, is with the Diaspora Committee of the New Nigeria Project. Thank you very much, Mr. WAYAS.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. I know that this is going to be on the internet, so you who is a Nigerian in any part of the world gets to see it and gets to decide to not only continue to do what you've been doing, but figure out ways that you can do more to contribute to the betterment of your home country, Nigeria. My name is Uju Nwachukwu. Thank you for staying tuned. See you next time on another edition of the New Nigeria Show.